Welcome friends, we will look into the next part of the decision theory. So what is that? It is nothing but decisions. We will look into some of the decision types, we will revise them. Then we will look into decision making under certainty. Then we will look into introduction of decision making under uncertainty, certain factors which are involved where the decision maker does not know what is the outcome. And then finally the examples based on the decision making under uncertainty. So what are the types? We already discussed based on the environment, which are the first is certainty, second uncertainty under risk, and third one is based on uncertainty. So in certainty, the outcome is known. Clearly, there is only one state of nature. It is very easy to decide in that kind of nature. But if the courses are increased, then it is still difficult. But in very simple problem scenarios, in decision making under certainty, it is almost simple. Clear? What about uncertainty? Uncertainty, you do not know the outcome, right? Even the probability is not known. It is very difficult. But in risks factors, you know the probability. Means for the probability of like failing in that project is so and so. Clear? 50% or 60%. That is the probability which is known already. Means you know the risk. Clear? Now what about certainty? Let me give an example of certainty. Means if you are buying Kisan Vikas Patra, that is the example for decision making under certainty. You are deciding to invest money, right? And you are buying Kisan Vikas Patra. So you are going to get guaranteed a return, right? It is definitely no. So decision maker knows that he knows the facts that what are the outcome of this decision making. And so in that situation, it is easy for you to decide, okay, I will buy the Kisan Vikas Patra. So that is best example of decision making under certainty. It is also easy and simple, right? You know the outcome as well. But once the courses of actions are increased, it becomes complex. And then you will also apply linear programming to solve these kind of problems. But in the simple scenarios, it is very easy to decide. In uncertain problems, like let's say for example on the right hand side in this figure, if you can see, for optimist, this is just an example, right? It is half full. For pessimist, it is half empty. For chemist, it is full. For mathematician, it may be a formula, right? Volume. For engineer, glass is too big. For philosopher, is there really a glass? And for the skeptic, the formula of the mathematicians to calculate the volume is not entirely correct. Clear? Now what do you mean by this? It means that there are many problems of this nature, and choice of a course of action depends on the personality and judgment of decision maker. Here the decision makers were different. Their choices were also different. Their perception is different. Clear? So definitely you will have different models. Now we will look into these models which are involved under uncertainty. So what are the criteria? On these criteria, first is optimist maximax or minimin, that is optimistic. Second is pessimistic, which is maximin criterion. Hurwig's criterion, which is realism criterion. You have regret salvage criterion. Salvage is the mathematician who derived this criterion. Laplace, you already remember through different mathematics, Laplace criterion. Let's look into all of these models, or you can say criterion one by one. So first is maximax criterion, means whatever maximum is there out of maximum payoffs, you will look into that. Very easy to understand and very optimistic decision, the decision maker. It is the most favorable nature of the outcome the decision maker is going to choose. Now what is the method? The first is to pick up the maximum payoff of each alternative. So whatever alternatives are given, you will find out the maximum payoff, right? Again, you have different maximum payoffs. Out of this maximum payoffs, you will again select the maximum payoff, right? Out of this decision. That is nothing but the optimistic approach, or you can say best of the best. Clear? Let's see an example. The profit of a milk booth of a particular brand under small, medium, and large object is low, moderate, high, and demands are shown in table here. The demand for the booth low with the categories of low, moderate and high are given, right? And the order of the milk again for the small, medium and large is given. Here the order is given and here the demand is given. Clear? Now using the optimistic criterion, what criterion the company is looking for? Optimistic. Now take a decision which order, means this order is more beneficial for the owner. Clear? Now if you see here, in this case, you in the step 1, what you will find out, you will try to find out the maximum among the payoff value selected in step 1, right? What is the maximum payoff value? Here it is 1200, here it is 1500 and here it is 1800, right? Out of all this, which one is the maximum one? It is 1800. So 1800 is nothing but the course of A3. Clear? What is the course of action? Which is nothing but this one. The company will go with this 1800. Clear? Course of action. Simple enough. You will get the best out of best. That is nothing but the optimistic criterion. What about the pessimistic criterion? You have maximum decision making, or also known as Walden criterion. In this decision, what you are assuming the pessimistic view, means you, let's see the approach and then you will find out. Let's say first step is you will find the minimum payoff from each alternative. Whatever the payoffs are there, you will find out the minimum one. So we'll start from the right side. You will find the minimum payoff, right? Out of this minimum payoffs, you will get the maximum. See here, the approach is pessimistic, right? It is contrasting to optimistic approach, means you will first find out the minimum payoffs, and out of this minimum payoffs, you are going to find the maximum one. So let's see how it is working. In the same problem, we are using this structure and the matrix where you have demand of milk low, moderate to high, right? And the order of the milk is from small, medium to large. What is the step? First, you will try to find out the minimum of all the criteria. So what is the minimum one? 1200 here. For here it is 1000. Clear? And what about this? For the large, it is nothing but 800. This is the minimum value. Now this is the step 1. You will find the minimum. Now step 2 is to find the maximum of all this. So what is the maximum of all this? It is 1200. So what is the criteria here? It is small. The course of action is small, A1. So company will go with the A1. Clear? That is the pessimistic criterion. What about the Hurwitz criterion? In this criterion, it is a combination of maximin and max, also known as rationality criterion. So what are the steps? So in between, neither too optimistic nor too pessimistic, it works in between, or you can say the rational operation. So what the method is, you will first find out the Hurwitz value. Now what is this Hurwitz value? It is nothing but rho maximum into alpha plus rho minimum into 1 minus alpha. Here you will see the method and then you will easily understand in the problem. You will see. Now here the Hurwitz criterion is already given in the problem, which is nothing but between the values 0 and 1, which is nothing but coefficient of realism. So let's look into the problem. Here if you see, the same problem is given with small, medium and large course of actions with low, moderate, high given. The data is given already. Now what is the maximum for each course of action? Here it is 1200, here it is 1500, it is 1800. And same way, what is the minimum one here? Which is nothing but 1200, here it is 1000 and it is 800. Now what is the formula here? If you see the previous formula, right, that is alpha rho max plus rho min 1 minus alpha. So same way, what is alpha here? 0.6, that is the value of H. You will put it here, 1 minus alpha is 0.4. Clear? And you will put into the equation here, right, and you will find out the answer: 1200, 1300 and 1400. Out of those you will find out the maximum value. What is the maximum value here? 1400. That you will get 1400. Again, where do you get this rho here? Here you 0.6 is alpha, that is this one, alpha. What is the rho maximum here? Rho maximum is 1200. Clear? Plus 0.4, that is 1 minus alpha. And what is rho minimum? That is 0.4. sorry, 1200 is the row minimum and 0.4 is 1 minus alpha, and you get the value accordingly. And the course of action is, which is nothing but A3 based on Hurwitz criterion. Now salvage criterion is minimax rate, or you can say regret criterion. Let's see, or you can say regret. What we mean by regret is nothing but opportunity cost, or you can say opportunity loss. Regret is nothing but the amount we give up due to not picking the best alternative in a given state of nature. And based on this regret, you will find out this regret criterion and strategies. Clear? So what is the first step? You will construct a table. Clear? You pick maximum regret of each row in regret table. In the maximum regret, now here constructing the regret table, we will see with the help of example, and then out of this regret table you will find the maximum regret. So you will start with this regret table, you will find the maximum regret, and out of this maximum regrets you find the minimum one, and then you will pick that one for the decision making. So let's see how does this work out. So here you have written all this matrices 12,000, 12,000 and 12,000, right? Out of all this, for the small one, clear, for the medium one and low, moderate, high, low, moderate, high, clear. So 12,000, 1500 and 1800 you will write down from here. That is the maximum values you will get. Clear? If you see here, those are the maximum values. You deduct that amount from all of this. Clear? Means 12,000 minus, sorry, 1200 minus 1200, 1200 minus 1000, 1200 minus 800. So you will get the value accordingly. Clear? In the same way, the maximum value is 1500. 1500 minus 1200, 1500 minus 1500, 1500 minus 1300. Okay, that is this one. Clear? Likewise. Next is 1800. So what is 1800? 1800 minus 1200. Clear? 1800 minus 1500 and 1800 minus 1800. That is this. Now out of this you will find out you have found the regret for not taking that choice. Clear? Now what is the maximum one out of this? This is 600, or here it is 300. Out of this it is 400. Now out of this maximum regrets you will find the minimum one. What is the minimum one here? 300. So 300 you will go with the medium A2. The course of action would be A2. Clear? So that is nothing but minimax. Clear? Minimax or regret salvage criterion. Now Laplace criterion. What do you mean by Laplace criterion? Again, in this criterion you are going to take the probabilities, or you can say the averages of payoffs of given alternatives. So how do you work out this? It starts with the assumption that the state of the nature is equally likely to occur. Each and every state of nature has the equal probability, right? Means you will take the average. Now in this method, step 1, you will find out the average payoff of each alternative. Now out of this, all the alternatives averages, you will take the whatever the highest average is there, we are going to choose it for the decision. So let's see for the example. Now in this example, the same example previously we explained, but we will solve it with the help of Laplace criterion. So how does this work out? So low, moderate, high courses of actions for the order of Milka is given. Clear? Now the expected payoff value for each course of action is given by, how will you do that? You will add 1200, 1200 and 1200, and you will find out the average of this. So what is the expected payoff value of action A1? That is 1 by 3, 1200 plus 1200 plus 1200, which is nothing but 3600 divided by 3, 1200. Clear? In the same way, for the second one, the course of action is 1000 plus 1500 plus 1500, which is 4000 by 3, which is 1333. Clear? For the course of action A3, you will have 800 plus 1300 plus 1800 is coming out to be 1300. Now, if you see here, out of all these courses of actions in Laplace criterion, we have equally likely scenarios for all three payoffs. Right? For this row, we have all three equally likely payoffs, and we found out the expected payoff. Clear? In the same way for the A2 and for the A3. Now, what is the final answer? Final answer is, what is the favorable course of action? Which is nothing but highest out of all three. So what is the highest out of all three? Is 1333.33. That is the maximum payoff, and which is nothing but payoff value of course of action A2. So based on Laplace criterion, the decision maker is going to go for the course of action A2. So in this way, we have discussed all the different scenarios like maximax, minimin, right? Laplace criterion, Hurwitz criterion, Salvage criterion. So all these criterions are used for the decision making under uncertainty. So whenever the uncertain situations are there in decision making, you will apply this criterion and get the ultimate or optimal course of action for the decision maker. Clear? So this case is nothing but decision making under uncertainty. So in next lecture, we are going to discuss about EMV and EVPI. Thank you very much.